If you've ever tried to learn Chinese, you know the real fight isn't with the tones or the characters, right? It's with yourself. It's about just staying consistent. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to turn learning Chinese from a total chore into a habit that's not just sustainable, but actually automatic. Let's just start with the big, uncomfortable question. Why do so many of us start learning Chinese with all this fire and excitement, only to kind of fizzle out a few weeks or months down the road? It's a super common story, but the reason why it happens, well, it's probably not what you think it is. We tell ourselves these stories, right? Oh, Chinese is just too hard. Or the classic, I'm just not motivated enough. But here's the truth. Failure almost never has to do with your personal willpower. It has everything to do with your system. The real problem isn't that you failed, it's that the habit was never really built to succeed in the first place. And that's the key. This is not about gritting your teeth and trying harder. It's about designing your life, your environment, so that learning happens almost on its own. The goal is to make it as automatic and just as non-negotiable as brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you don't debate it, you just do it. And this points to a really powerful shift in how we think about this, which is captured perfectly in this quote from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. See, the ultimate goal isn't just to do Chinese flashcards, it's to become the kind of person who learns Chinese. That identity, that's what makes the habit stick for good. So, how do we actually build that identity? Well, luckily for us, we don't have to guess. There is a proven, simple, four-step framework that comes straight from behavioral science. It gives us a clear, actionable roadmap. It's called the four-step habit loop, and we're going to translate that science into four super simple laws for building a learning habit that is basically unbreakable. So here's our game plan. 4 steps. Number 1, make it obvious. Number 2, make it attractive. 3, make it easy. And finally, number 4, make it satisfying. If you can get these 4 things right, you are creating a system that is almost guaranteed to work. All right, let's dive right in with our first step, make it obvious. This is all about engineering your world so that you can't possibly forget to get started. You know, the big secret here is that super disciplined people don't actually have more willpower than the rest of us. Not at all. They just have more disciplined environments. You want to make the cue to start learning Chinese so loud and clear that it's actually harder to ignore it than it is to just do it. And here are some really practical ways you can do that right now. First, be incredibly specific with your plan. Not just I'll study Chinese, but I will learn 10 characters at 8 a.m. in my study. Then redesign your space. Put that flashcard app right on your phone's home screen, maybe where Instagram used to be. Leave your Chinese books out on your desk. You can even have some Chinese audio playing softly in the background. It all acts as a constant, gentle nudge. Okay, so now we're building on that with step 2, make it attractive. Because let's be honest, just because something is obvious doesn't mean you'll actually want to do it. For that, we need to create a genuine craving. The trick here is to link your new habit, the one that feels kind of hard, like learning Chinese, with something you already really look forward to doing. It's a strategy sometimes called temptation bundling, and it basically rewires your brain to start associating language learning with a nice little dopamine hit. A fantastic way to do this is something I call the reward sandwich. Here's how it works. You start with something you already enjoy, like making your morning coffee. Then you slot in your new Chinese habit, say 10 minutes of flashcards. And then you immediately follow that with something you really want to do, like scroll through your favorite social media for 5 minutes. Pretty soon, just the anticipation of that reward makes the Chinese part feel way more attractive. So now your habit is obvious, it's attractive, but you still might avoid it if it feels like a mountain of work. You know, the hardest part of any new habit is just getting started. And that brings us to step 3, make it easy. Look, procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's just our brain's natural response to friction. When a task feels huge and daunting, of course we're going to avoid it. So the solution is to lower that barrier to entry so much that it feels almost silly not to start. The goal right now isn't perfection, it's just repetition. You've got to get your reps in. So how do you become a master of just starting? Well, there is a brilliantly simple tactic, and it's called the 2-minute rule. I'm telling you, this little trick is an absolute game changer. Here's how it works. Whatever your big habit is, you shrink it down to something that takes less than 2 minutes to do. So instead of study Chinese for an hour, your new goal is just open my flashcard app. That's it.
Or read one Chinese sentence, review 3 flashcards. The goal isn't to get a lot done, it's simply to start. The magic is, once you've started, you'll almost always find yourself wanting to do more.
Now, starting the habit is half the battle, but finishing it is what actually makes it stick. And this brings us to the final and maybe most critical step. Make it satisfying. This is the part that tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's do that again tomorrow.
Our brains are fundamentally wired to repeat behaviors that give us immediate pleasure. It's that simple. So the first 3 steps, obvious, attractive, and easy, they get you to do the habit this time. But this last step, making it satisfying, is what ensures you come back and do it next time. It closes the loop and it locks the habit in for the long haul. But, and this is a big but, you have to choose your rewards wisely. A sabotaging reward, like a Netflix binge after studying, kinda undermines your bigger goals. But a reinforcing reward, like buying a new Chinese book or getting credits for an online tutoring session, that actually supports your identity as a learner. It's a reward that helps you level up.
And, beyond just rewards, maybe the most powerful form of satisfaction is just seeing progress. So track your habit. Use an app, put X's on a calendar. Whatever you do, don't break the chain. That visual streak is incredibly motivating. Benchmark yourself. Record your voice once a month. Rewatch an old Chinese show and see how much more you understand. And share your wins. Celebrating with other people feels amazing and really reinforces the behavior.
So there you have it. Obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. This isn't just a random collection of tips. It's a system. And it's a system designed not just to build a habit, but to literally build a new identity for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the real goal isn't just to cross learn Chinese off some to-do list. It's about actually becoming the kind of person who speaks Chinese. So the real question isn't what you will do tomorrow, but who? Who will you become?